In my world there is music and good vibes and laughter and lovers, adventure and friendship. We know who we are.
Welcome to Be the Wellness Podcast, where we help you master your body, mind, and the experience of life through insightful conversation, interviews with experts and thought leaders, all with a side of marital banter and some good old-fashioned humor.
Yes, we are your hosts, Adam and Vanessa Lambert, and we're committed to helping you live life fully expressed physically, mentally, and experientially. Sit back, grab a cup of coffee, and join the conversation. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Be the Wellness Podcast. What is going on today?
Not much.
Not much.
Podcasting, mostly.
Well, the sun is trying to come through the clouds, which I'm really excited about because it has been pretty foggy doggy.
Yeah. All the moisture words.
All the moisture words, and I'm ready for some sunshine. But we are getting ready to leave for Costa Rica in like 5 minutes again, so I guess plenty of sunshine is coming.
Yeah. Well, and it's actually summer there now.
Yes.
Right. So when we were there 3 weeks ago, something like that, it's right at the edge of rainy season.
Yes.
You know, so there's thunderstorms and all of that. And now it's just like straight up hot and dry.
Yeah, and it switches. It's like someone turns on the lights, literally. It goes from, and that's why we love, again, going in November when we did last month for our Be the Wellness, our adventure retreat. We love going that time of year because it's just changing from rainy season to dry season. And it's like it is really, honestly, I think the best time to go.
Yeah.
We've really fallen in love with that time. But now it's like the light switch is fully on and we're going into the heat.
Yeah, totally. And I think luckily it's been a wet winter, I believe, down there. So, because one of the things that happens in the north is that it does dry out because it's a little hotter. Mm-hmm. But I think it's going to be perfect.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. So we are headed down there, of course, for our Rhythmia retreat. So it's a great way for us to wrap up the year. But, we really wanted to take this episode before we leave and talk about, something that is really one of the biggest things that we're up to here at Be the Wellness. And that is our B-Fest event. For some folks who've been with us for a while, you may have remembered in 2018, we launched our first B-Fest event. And this was really kind of out of the heart song of us wanting to bring together our bigger community. We host these retreats all over the world, and we really get a chance to meet people and share these adventures really in all these different pockets of the world. But we wanted a place that we could feel like our whole community could come together in one larger gathering and really have an amazing experience. And we also wanted a place for folks who maybe haven't had a chance to go travel with us or go do, some of these bigger, longer adventures or maybe international retreats to come and share this experience of Be the Wellness and meet our community and become part of what we're up to and really get to experience the amazing, tremendous vibe that is Be the Wellness in a singular event.
Yeah. And it's, there's something cool that happens too when it's a little bit bigger group.
Oh, yes.
There's because normally, what are we? Somewhere between 15 and 20 people at most of our events.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And that's awesome as well, right? There's a lot more individual kind of attention and connection and stuff like that goes on. But there's something that is, I don't even know what the word is, but once you get to a certain size of group of people who are really all on the same page, it's like our community, the people who are attracted to our community really have way more in common than they do not.
Yeah.
And even if it's not immediately obvious, once you get into that larger group, it's really interesting to see how it just feels like extended family.
Mm-hmm, totally.
And there's a piece that is, because honestly, we weren't sure when we first did our bigger events, how that aspect was going to translate, because it's such a big piece of what we do is really creating this community and really helping people see themselves in their peers and, move through all of the things that are, maybe stopping them in life, and so we didn't want to create an event where that was lost, and somehow, even in this larger group setting, it really stays and it feels like, a big family reunion.
Yeah,
right?
totally.
It's like, oh, that's my cousin. I don't, I think he's my cousin. Well, this is how your family goes anyway. All of these people are my cousins somehow. Nobody's really sure how it all is connected, but you just know they're just family,
Yeah.
So it's cool.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. No, I think that's a really great way of putting it. And we do talk about that a lot, that our events are kind of like a family. Like, it's maybe not the people you would necessarily tend to find yourself in in an event with, or at an event with. People, like, again, are from all different walks of life, all different areas of the world, all different jobs, all different ages, all different sizes, all different everything. And it is one of the things that we really pride ourselves on, is that it is a really inclusive community. And what it takes to be part of Be the Wellness is that you want to be part of it.
Right.
That's like the only criteria. And we wanted it to be that. It's been intentional that way, because we didn't want it to be a place where it just looked like a homogenized kind of land where people couldn't identify with any of the people. And so there's somebody for everybody. There's somebody that, will be totally different than you, and somebody that will be similar to you. But like, that is what makes it such a cool amalgamation of chemistry and backgrounds. And like you said, it does create like this family dynamic.
Yeah, totally. And I'll throw one caveat in there. So people, yes, everyone is welcome, as long as you're willing to be open-minded and open to experience, and open to, really contributing to the experience, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's almost like what they say at Burning Man, right? It's like no spectators. We don't want a bunch of people who are just coming to see the thing happen.
Right.
It's like what we really want, and what happens almost like automatically in our community, is that people contribute.
Yeah.
They show up and they bring themselves, and they put their best foot forward, and they're active in creating the experience.
Yeah, definitely. And I think this is actually one of the big reasons that, we have made it part of the experience, is to go out in nature, to go out and be physical, to go out and start doing some physical activities together. Because one of the things that we know will bond you more than anything else is doing something physical together, getting out in nature, being on a hike. And so maybe we can talk a little bit about some of the adventures we'll be up to at Zion, because it really offers some amazing opportunity to get out in nature. And, first of all, let's just talk about Zion in general, because, folks out there may or may not remember, but when Adam and I left Burning Man last year, we took our RV and we drove to our retreat in Montana. Well, part of the, idea around this road trip, so to speak, and we pretty much hit all 12 Western states. I think we skipped a couple, but we stopped at tons and tons of places to scout for BFest 2020. And so as we were working our way through Oregon, through California, even in Montana, as we were working our way back down through Utah, obviously we were stopping at all these different locations to scout where we could potentially host BFest 2020. And, to be quite honest, we found some amazing places, and we found some beautiful spaces, and there were some things that, some places that kind of popped to us that were cool. But to be honest, we were in Utah on our way home. We were going home through Arizona. We had one more stop in Arizona to see my dad. We actually went to a different location in Utah that is near Zion. And we fell in love with Zion. But the particular property that we thought we were going to use was not, we decided we didn't want to use it. Yeah, it just wasn't for us. And so we were like, man, we were a little defeated, to be honest. We were like, oh man, this place like Zion itself, you drive down into Springdale, which is the main town right into the entrance of the park. And I mean, these red cliffs and like just... it's so hard, even with photos or whatever, they're so impactful and so powerful that I think both of us were like, oh my gosh, wow. Like, we've heard people talk about Zion, but it was our first experience.
Yeah.
And it was incredible.
Yeah. Yeah. It's really a breathtaking landscape.
Yes.
Like, no two ways about it. And the weather's really nice. It's not too hot. It's not too cold. It's dry.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's all the things. Yeah.
It's everything. Yeah. Everything you're looking for.
Yeah. And we happen to be there around the time that we will be hosting B-Fest, which is in October. And so we were like, the weather was perfect. Again, it was sunny, but it wasn't too warm. It was just like all of the things were firing. And we were like, okay, this is our spot. And we happened to drive by the location where it will be hosted. And I was thinking like, oh, that place looks cool. And so, we were able to scout out this other location, dial it in. It's perfect for us. It's literally at the foot of the park. I mean, you can walk from our private boutique hotel grounds to the entrance where you can catch the buses into the park and, or you ride your bike or do whatever into the park.
Yeah. Yeah. You couldn't get any closer.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, it's the spot. So, which is always nice, right? It's because, and we'll talk more about this as we get into some of the stuff that's going to be happening. But, when we're taking a bigger group places and we're trying to get all of this stuff figured out, it's like, you don't want to spend a whole bunch of time in a bus.
Yeah.
It's like,
totally.
that's not what we're about. We're not about loading everybody in a massive tour bus and driving for 4 hours and then walking for an hour and then getting back.
Right.
It's like, we really want to be able to have the vast majority of your experience at B-Fest be curated. So when you're not doing something in the park, you're doing something at the place, and there's not a lot of time spent, commuting.
In between. Yeah, definitely. I mean, and this is really, one of the things that, for folks out there who don't know, we won Best of Paleo Awards last year, 2019, for paleo retreats. And one of the things that, people really gave us the feedback on that is that these events really are so well curated. We really think about your time. And because we are so interested in you having the best experience, we're thinking about the event flow from a state of what is your experience going to be like? What are you going to be feeling, thinking, seeing? What are you going to be surrounded with? Like, we're really thinking this in a very 5D way and, trying to put ourselves in all of the senses of what people will be experiencing. And anyway, our location couldn't be a better spot for for us to be planted right there. It's on a beautiful river right at the, the cliffs that are basically the same cliffs that are in the park. Sorry. I got so excited. The same cliffs that are in the park literally extend right out, outside of our front windows of our hotel rooms. So everyone has these amazing views from their hotel rooms. The hotel was actually built to encapsulate and to capture the incredible views that surround the area. So it's really one of the amazing things about our location.
Yeah. Yeah, it was set up, if I remember correctly, it's set up so that the windows from your bedrooms either view the canyon wall,
right,
which is incredible, or directly into the river, which right across the river, of course, is another canyon wall.
Exactly.
Yeah, there's no bad views.
There's no bad views. Yeah, exactly. So that is going to be our location. And, again, no Be the Wellness event would be complete without the extreme detail to the way that we'll be nourishing ourselves and the way that the food and the menu will be provided. And of course, we will do everything in strict paleo fashion because that is what we find to be the best way to feed most people and have them feeling amazing and have them feeling so well nourished. And, Chef Joanne, who has been with us for several years now and has been, shining star in the Be the Wellness staff retreat, retreat staff, will be curating that for us as well. And it's really about creating meals that make you feel like when you leave, you are leaving feeling more healthy, more vibrant, more excited about the food that you ate and the way you nourished yourself over the weekend, and reminding you that living a healthy life doesn't have to be laborious or terrible or like a hard decision.
Yeah.
It can actually be joyful and amazing and delicious and enriching.
Yeah.
And that's what our meals are meant to do.
Yeah, totally. And it's also possible just to do it while you're on quote unquote vacation.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
And so that's a big piece of it too, is we see so many folks who are, fairly on the ball with their nutritional strategy when they're at home.
Right.
But then as soon as they get on the road, they get thrown off. And then sometimes it takes a while to get back on the wagon when they return. And it's really not necessary, right?
Yeah.
Like, you can maintain your nutritional strategy whilst traveling and doing awesome stuff. And so that's what we aim to prove And we've been doing it for a while. And it seems to work.
Well, and the thing is, even if you don't eat paleo, we have so many folks that come that are not paleo people, right? Like, again, this isn't about being dogmatic. This is just about making it the widest funnel for the most people to really feel amazing. Yeah. And even people who don't eat paleo are like, you know what? I feel amazing. I'm really glad I came and did that. And now I see that, like, there are some subtle changes maybe I want to make in my diet, or even when I'm on vacation. Mm-hmm. I was just posting in Instagram this week that when I actually Googled Zion National Park, one of the first little comments that came up in the corner on the right-hand side, I don't know if it was like, I don't know where it was from, but you know how you kind of get like a smattering of things about Zion. And one of the very first comments was, the food was basic: hamburgers, hot dogs, ice cream, regular park food. And I was just thinking, yeah, that's probably kind of what you have access to if you do it on the regular.
Yeah, no, it's true.
If you don't bring in private chefs and, have this whole curated thing, obviously there's restaurants around there and there's that kind of thing. But like, this is really, even if you've been to Zion before, the way that we are going to do it and the way that we are going to cater it and curate it is going to be unlike anything you've ever done.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So should we talk about the activities?
Yeah, let's talk activities.
Yeah. So of course, one of our big aims with B-Fest is to be able to really experience our health, right? Mm-hmm. We are about body, mind, and experience. We work on ourselves, our health, our fitness, our mindfulness, all this stuff because we want to have an amazing experience in life. And so what better way to do that than to get out in the park and use our physical abilities? We will be doing the Angel's Landing hike, which is one of the most famous hikes in the park. For folks who are afraid of heights, there is a bit of a, at the end of that hike, there's an opportunity to hike up kind of to a steep cliff, I suppose. Yeah.
For lack of a better word.
Yeah, I'm like... I was going to say like a cliff face, but either way, that part is optional. But even if you don't want to do that kind of finishing challenge, the hike itself is amazing. So don't feel like if you're afraid of heights or any of that, that would preclude you from doing this, because that part is optional. The next activity we'll be doing is actually a bicycle ride through the park. And this is one of the best ways that you can see the park, is literally cruising. And it's not a difficult bike ride. It's actually a pretty moderate slope, really pretty much for any fitness level. But it's a really amazing way to have an open outdoor experience of seeing the cliffs and seeing the park.
Yeah, as opposed to like an open top bus.
Yeah, which they don't even have there. Right. So if you do a bus tour, which is the other alternative to go through the park, you're in an enclosed bus. And that's kind of like, and so everyone that we talk to and everyone that, kind of has given us like their experience of the parks, this is the way to do it. And actually Adam and I are going to be going back and doing all these tours ourselves too, just to kind of get the timing and all of that done, which is something we always do before B-Fest. But across the board, at all of the vendors, everyone we talk to is like, you got to do it by bike. That's the way to do it.
Yeah. So how long is that bike ride?
So all of our, all of our activities will start first thing in the morning and we'll be back by lunch. And that bike ride is really a situation of kind of choose your own adventure. So we'll have several guides and leaders that will sort of space out the group. And so obviously the faster people will get a little further in the park and the slower people will get a little less far, but it's an in and out. So you don't have to worry about like making the whole route or, timing or any of that. Pretty much once we get to a certain time point, we turn around and go back, and, all views are spectacular. So no matter where you get to, you're going to have an amazing experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's the real upshot to Zion, is just like being there.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's almost like the east side or East Glacier in Montana. You're like, oh, am I going to make the whole hike? You're like, dude, it doesn't matter. So you're here, and that's like the thing.
That's the thing. Yeah. And then our final activity is going to be a little bit more adventurous, and that's a canyoneering activity. So that one is a little bit more rigorous, so to speak. It's got some not some ladders, but some ropes and some rappelling and some opportunity to do like go and, I don't know what you call it when you go like between the walls of the canyon. I mean, I guess it is canyoneering.
I think that is actually the canyoneering.
That is actually canyoneering. But for folks who are intimidated by that, again, we'll have an opportunity for you if you want to do something different in the park. Again, we're right on the park. You can take buses in, you can do another little hike. There's lots of or you can stay on the property and just have a free morning. But I really encourage anybody who's on the fence about that to do it, because again, we do aim to help people go a little beyond their comfort zone and to try new things and to realize that you have more physical competence than maybe you would have thought.
Yeah, for sure. And, we say this all the time, but usually it's just some sort of a hang up. You know what I mean? There's obviously there are people who are legit afraid of heights, and it's a paralyzing situation. Right?
Yes.
But for others, it's more like I don't know, kind of thing. And man, if you can push through that, it's a whole nother deal.
Yes,
totally. It's very, very liberating.
Absolutely. And that is one of the things, we always talk about transformation in our retreats, and B-Fest is an awesome opportunity for that on so many levels. And, transformation comes to you in your own unique way if you're willing to step one step beyond what you would have done in the past. And this is the thing is we can't take the same actions and expect ourselves to be different or expect some different version of ourselves to show up. So it's in these moments is when you have an opportunity to step into something new for yourself. And, we really encourage you. Obviously, we work with everybody. If there's anyone who's nervous about anything, this is a very hands-on planning situation. It's not like you sign up and then, that's it. You show up that day. We'll be in touch with you prior to the event. There will be a Facebook group. There'll be lots of interaction and all of that kind of stuff. So folks out there who are nervous about any parts of this, always feel free to reach out to us at info@bethewellness.com. But just know that we're going to work all this stuff out. This is, again, a highly curated event that is made for you to have your most amazing experience.
Yeah. Yeah. And in sum, you're not signing up for something that there's no coming back from.
Exactly.
There's always a way to maximize and optimize the experience that you have.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, again, the mornings are going to be spent in the park or just on the outskirts of the park in terms of the canyoneering. But we've got some awesome, leaders and guides and leaders who are going to be taking us on these excursions that are just awesome. We've got them lined out. And then, it's all about, next up is some amazing coaches, guest coaches, folks that we're bringing in to teach modules and to share their expertise and to really give our community a sense of, of advanced learning, if you will, because this is really another thing that we really want people to walk away from B-Fest is wow, I really learned a lot. I really feel like I'm coming away from this event having a few things that I identified that maybe were either holes in my game or things that I just didn't even know existed that now I want to find more out about. Or just, really just blown away by the fact that you were able to be exposed to so many different ideas and thought trains and, different things that people are practicing and teaching these days. Yeah.
Yeah. It's really an opportunity, in the larger setting to bring in the people kind of like the podcast. Yeah. You know what I mean? To a large degree. It's these are the people that we think are interesting and have interesting things going on, and B-Fest is really our opportunity to bring that into real life.
Yes.
So we bring in people who we think are up to cool stuff. And I mean, it really runs the gamut, and people that were at B-Fest last time around can attest. It's you just never know what's going to happen.
Yes, exactly.
Who you're going to see
exactly.
And what the plan of the afternoon is going to be. And it's really something that I think, adds a lot to the overall experience,
Yeah, absolutely. That was Daisy in the background. Just ignore her. So, just in terms of all the guest coaches, all the influencers, all the people that will be coming to the event, take a look at the website and just see, because we are going to be announcing new guest coaches pretty much up until this event gets rolled out, or until this event takes place. So, keep your peepers on the website and on announcements, because we've got some amazing people in the pipeline and we'll be announcing them over the next coming months. And we're really, really stoked about some of the stellar talent that is coming to this event.
Yeah. Yeah. And then what other kind of talent?
We, of course, it would not be a fest without the fest, and it wouldn't be. I don't know we put the B in the fest. I don't know what this how to say it, but
music.
We call B-Fest a wellness retreat with a festival vibe, right? And part of that is we want these amazing wellness activities. We want the foods to be nourishing. We want all of the coaching and all of that stuff that we've talked about it already. But we also want to have a damn good time.
Yeah.
We want to celebrate our lives and really come together in that celebratory fashion that reminds us of like why we are alive. You know, we are alive to celebrate ourselves, celebrate each other, celebrate this joyous experience that is our life. And so we will be bringing in different types of talent every night. You know, last year we did a live podcast, which we'll be doing again this year. And we're super excited to have Josh Trent of Wellness Force Radio, who'll be our main host for that. But we will also have some live music, some other fun stuff that's in the pipeline for you guys. So just keep your eyes again on the schedule for that. But every night we'll be doing some kind of live event, some kind of celebratory event that will be kind of the nightcap for us to finish such an awesome day.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the things that... I don't think we've ever actually discussed this, but in my mind, the reason that this kind of a thing can be as impactful as it is like if you look back at our ancestry, you know, where we came from as hunter-gatherers or as these smaller tribes of people, and you look at like what brought those people together, what were the things that they're somewhat common. I mean, I'm not an anthropologist, but there's a few things that are pretty common amongst these groups. And it's like some sort of arduous activity, whether it's hunting or going to war or pretending like you're going to war, playing the games, doing all of this stuff, right? That happens. And then there's a meal.
Right.
There's this celebratory meal. There's the breaking of the bread. There's this, you know, collective getting together of closing a day and eating. And then there's always some kind of a dance, music, ceremony thing that brings everybody together. And it's like, these, I think, are really fundamental pieces of our DNA and certainly of our experience of community.
Yes.
You know, and B-Fest is just such a great opportunity for us to march through those things. We're bringing all of this stuff together, you know, using our physicality in the way that we're training to, you know, eating the meals that we know to be the most nourishing for us, right? And doing it in a way that is just awesome. You know what I mean? You didn't have to go and kill anything. You didn't have to dig up any grubs. You didn't have to do any of that. You just come and you sit and you have an amazing meal by Chef Joanne. And then we cap it all off, like Vanessa was saying, with something that's celebratory and exciting and works up some other part of your senses, you know?
Right.
And I just think that in this kind of group size, like we fit within the Dunbar's number idea, and we're just recreating something that I think is really primal to us, to our human experience, you know?
I totally agree. And, you know, again, another piece of this B-Fest is, you know, we've done a lot of traveling, a lot of festivals, a lot of different events. And the one thing, though, I always just felt like things were still segregated. You know, it's like no matter what event I've ever been to, it's like there's parts of it that are together, but then it's parts that you're on your own. And it's like, you know, you tap in and out with people, but you'd never really get to drop in completely with people. You never get to completely commune with people day and night for a period of time where you do have that gelling effect, where you just become like family. Like you really do feel like you're in a tribe. And this is one of the things that I've wanted, or that we've wanted so badly to create with B-Fest, is like, no, we are all in this together. You know, this isn't like, well, some of you are VIP and some of you aren't.
Right,
and this,
right.
You know, you have access to that room over there, but some of you don't. And like, you know, all of that stuff aside, like where everything is planned, everything is curated, all you have to do is show up and be present and be with your people and be available to the moment. Like there is actually no other event in the world that I know of that is like that. Even Burning Man, which, you know, I love and adore my Burning Man. It's still all, it's such a big event, and it's so, every person is having a different experience. And I have always thought how amazing it would be to have everyone having the same experience, but their own transformation within that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well said.
Thank you. and truly, there's no other events in the planet that I know that are like this, in the sense that are, larger than just a normal retreat size. Like, obviously you can do this in a kind of retreat, but that you don't have that celebratory vibe. You don't have that kind of party vibe at the night, because it's really not like enough people to do it, right? If you only have 15 people, you can have a great time. Don't get me wrong. We can have a dance party, but there's something about having that number of people where it's like the energy is pumped up a little bit more beyond what it would normally be.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. So what else? What else about B-Fest besides it's going to be awesome? All the coolest people are going to be there.
Well, really what it comes down to is that I think for us, it's our hope that we build a tribe of B-Festers, of people who want to come to this event every year, because it is like your reconnection to yourself, to your community, to all the things that you hold important. We have our pillars in Be the Wellness, the be nourished, be present, be active, be adventurous, be silly, be sleepy. Yeah. I mean, that's another thing about B-Fest, is that we want you guys to be in bed by a decent time, right? We still want everyone to get 8 hours of sleep and feel really amazing. And, that, again, this is a lifestyle that we believe in. This is about we can really create our lives in a way that it all fundamentally works together, and everything just clicks and you feel really amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's totally doable. I mean, we've been doing it ourselves for years. So it's pretty awesome, and it's this. I don't know. I'm just excited. It's a really cool time of year to be there. The lineup, it's weird that all this stuff has to be a little mysterious, but it's also kind of fun.
It is fun,
but it's good, man. It's really good. There's a lot of synergistic people that are going to be coming, and it might be if we listed them all out, you'd be like, what?
Yeah.
Who are these? How do these people all fit together? But we know.
Yeah.
And once the experience is there, you're gonna get it too.
Yeah,
which is cool.
I'm glad that you mentioned that about being a little secretive, because this is something that we've grappled with, because obviously, everybody wants a sure thing out there. Everyone wants to know, what am I going to get for my money? I want to squeeze every little thing out of this, because this is my money. And I totally get that. I get you want to make sure that your investment is going towards something that, feels, it's...
Well, that you're interested in.
Well, that you're interested in for sure, but also is equal to your investment, right? And I totally get that. But I also think it's super important to have some mystery in the things that we do, to have some unexpected things. And it's one of the reasons we have loved Burning Man so much, is that we don't really know what's going to happen. We don't really know, everybody.
Yeah, you've got an idea.
You have an idea, but you really trust. You trust that, we trust the creators, we trust the energy of that, we trust the community, all those things. So we show up, right? And I think that that's really what we're aiming to create here with B-Fest, is that there's a certain level of trust. I know I'm going to show up, and that this is going to be amazing, and that these guys are going to provide this experience, because, there's a sense of, obviously, our brand has been out there for years and years now. Even the awards and the things and the people who've been on our retreats and talked about it, and there's the Paleo Magazine article, and there's all the things, but it's there's a certain sense of trust. I'm going to trust that this event is going to be magic for me. And when you go into something with that expectation, then more often than not, that's what shows up.
Yeah. Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. And the fewer, yeah, totally. So, I mean, you think about it like watching a movie, right? When somebody says, hey, this is a good movie, and you're like, but you don't know anything about it, and you go watch it, and you're like, wow, that was a really good movie. You just trusted somebody that was like, this is good, and you didn't really get the details.
Yeah.
But then there's a book or a movie that you're really excited about because you read the book and you thought it was really awesome, and it's got a great cast, and it's your favorite director, and it's all of those things, and you go and you watch it, and it doesn't live up to your expectations.
Right.
Even though it's probably a fantastic movie, there's so much preamble and ideas about it and all of this, and you end up in your mind, creating it in a way that then you compare the actual movie against.
Totally.
And like there's so many experiences in life that I think that fit that bill. If you, and like just like you were saying, do your due diligence. It's like you don't want to just throw money into something that you actually have no interest in, right? Like, do you need to understand all of that? But then once you've got it, then you just need to trust. Yeah. Just flip the switch and then trust that it's going to be awesome, because when you go into it with that intention of being open and looking for the incredibleness of the experience versus looking for what you can compare in the experience, it's going to be better. Yeah. I mean, absolutely. And I think actually that's probably just good advice for life. Yes. Yeah.
And I feel like we should just really wrap this up by just saying, if you feel that tinge or that excitement or that spark, and you've made it this far in the podcast, it's probably for a reason. And that's the other part for Adam and I that we've learned to trust as well. Like it goes both ways. We've learned to trust that the people who are meant to be there will show up. The energy will show up the way it's supposed to. And so you are as equal a creator in this event as we are. And so like if you feel that energy inside of you stirring now, and you feel a longing to participate in something in the creation of this and be an important member of our community, an important member of what we're trying to create, then we really invite you to come. We really invite you to just take that step. Logistically, we offer payment plans to make it easy for folks. We'll do all that we can to make it easy for you to say yes. But at the end of the day, you have to just you have to take that step and you have to give that yes.
Yeah. That is what's required.
That is what's required. So we are super excited. If you can't tell, we are so excited about this event, and we hope to see you there. We want to make sure that we wrap up with a big shout out to ButcherBox, who is our new partner and one of the people that inspires events like BeFest. Because really, when we think about the types, this is a farm to table event, and these are the types of foods that we'll be including are these foods that we can get behind, that we feel confident about, that we trust the sourcing, that again we can vote with our dollar. We say that all the time. It's so important in this day and age to put your money where your mouth is, and ButcherBox really provides a sustainable meat source, grass-fed, grass-finished beef, organic pasture-raised chickens, and gives you an opportunity to really have an amazing food supply in your life delivered to your door for really reasonable price.
Totally. Well, it's reasonable in general, and they always have some kind of cool deals going on. Yeah. So go ahead and check the link down in the show notes, and you can see what they've got going right now.
Yes. And last but not least, super important, we are going to be doing a giveaway for folks who share any of our podcast episodes, who leave us a 5-star review. All you have to do is email us info@bethewellness.com with a screenshot of the share of the review. We are entering you into a giveaway. Our giveaway, the next book that we are going to do, which is super exciting because we know lots of folks out there will be excited about it, is No Crumbs Left by Terry Turner. So she was on the podcast a few months ago, if you guys don't remember, but that will be the next book we give away. So get your 5-star reviews out there, or your shares, especially of this BeFest episode. Folks out there who are planning to come, share it. Get folks excited and involved, and maybe win a cookbook.
Bam.
All right, guys. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.